Sure, okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session on
Hello.
research in India. We have with us our panelists, Mr. Prakar Awasthi and Mr. Rohan Paul. I request the panelists to introduce themselves, please.
Rohan, will I go first?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, you go
I'll
ahead.
begin. I'll begin. Okay, everyone, I'm Prakhar. So, should I begin from my schooling or just my
From your master's, your PhD institute, and the topics you researched on. Those will be fine, I guess.
Prakar, are you speaking something? We are not able to hear you. Okay, Rohan, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So I am Rohan. I am presently doing my PhD in IIT Guwahati. So my research topic of my PhD is basically has to do with ribosome biogenesis in bacteria. So I use the prokaryotic model to study how ribosomes are
Rohan,
synthesized in the cell.
can you start from the beginning? Because I think your mic was muted when you started.
Oh, my mic was muted. Okay, sure, sure. So I am Rohan. So I am a PhD student currently in my fourth year in IIT Guwahati. So I am working on the field of ribosome biogenesis, and I use prokaryotic as a model system for understanding the dynamics of how ribosomes get synthesized in the cell. So my work involves pretty much a bit of biochemistry, a lot of genetics, and if you want to study anything with ribosomes, the ultimate is the cryo-EM. The latest tool is that is this cryo-EM structural analysis. So these are the three main fields that my work overlaps. So I have done my schooling. I have done my bachelor's and masters from Delhi University in the field of microbiology, and then after that I joined IIT Guwahati as a PhD student. So yeah, hello. Yeah,
Yes, thank you, Mr. Rohan. Mr. Prakhar,
Okay, shall I start?
yeah,
Okay, my name is Prakhar. I did my schooling from Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya Kanpur, and later on I joined Ramjas College for my graduation. After that I did my masters from Plant Molecular Biology Department in Delhi University. And currently I'm doing PhD in NIPGR. My work is on plant science specifically. So that's all, I guess.
yes, thank you. To the audience, if you have any queries regarding research in India, you can ask the panelists directly. All you have to do is raise your hand and we'll invite you on stage. Back to the session. I want to start with the basics. How did you guys know that you wanted to pursue PhD? Was it directly after masters or was it from the undergrad itself? And how did you know what topic you wanted to pursue?
Should I answer first? First, like,
Yeah, sure.
okay. So for my PhD thing, I don't know when I was interested in. Basically, I joined a summer internship in my graduation third year in Delhi University South Campus. So I was there for 2 months for this summer internship thing, and I did kind of just going through the basics of lab. How does lab function? What is the requirement for PhD, and how do they operate in general? So that was my first introduction to that life of PhD or in general research, and I kind of liked it. So that was my first brief experience to this life, and I enjoyed it. So I would suggest everyone to have at least a big, not just big, a small kind of experience before entering into PhD, before you know that what all they do and what all they are like going through. So that was my first experience, and in my masters, I've got to like with my seniors and my professors in the University South Campus. They were very good, and they have shown like decent expertise in their field, and they have exposed me as well there into the lab thing. So that was my first experience, and there on I got hooked into it.
Thank you. Mr. Rohan?
Yeah. So, I started when I started my PhD. When I started my basically research, research life. So I first started with the bioprocess engineer. First started working in a bioprocess engineering lab. And if you know, like bioprocess engineering is totally different from what I'm currently doing. So the my basically how I got into PhD or got into research is basically I was always fascinated with this thing is called. That's why I joined also as a microbiologist for my course in microbiology Delhi. So it's like you see a single organism. A single organism can do multiple things. So a bacteria. So here is here single organism, microorganism. Basically, I'm talking about. So it is a system on its own, and this one. This quite fascinated me, and there are various basically so this quite fascinated me, and this slowly drive me towards doing taking a research like research as a career this one goal also. So yeah, then I started working towards it, and in my masters and my also in my bachelors, the professors or the lecturers who were there, they were quite uh, bas- uh, uh, quite helped me quite a lot to clear my doubts and basics and all, and also they encourage that research is a good option to take up in when you are in science field. And also you basically when you are in science, when you do uh, when you get into the research field, that is one of the way you contribute to the field. This is one of the very important way that you contribute truly towards development of that field. So I thought of like taking the research as a this one, and also you can basically when you try to answer a question or a challenge, so you actually you have to work your brain out. So I like that thing. So you have so that was the way I basically joined PhD, and now I'm working in completely different. It's a basic biology field, and it is a very challenging field, and also to study the different basically different. We have to develop different approaches. So this, if you are into this, that if you are into this like a problem solving attitude, then research is a good option to take up, because problems in research may look simple, but sometimes they can be challenging to answer through a simple method. So yeah.
Thank you. So, how did you choose your institute? Was it based on any criteria, or was it based on the labs? Was it based on the mentor, the PI? What was the criteria that that led you to choose this institute that you're currently working in?
So Prakar, can I go ahead first or you?
Sure, sure, you can go ahead.
Hello.
We'll follow a
Yeah.
pattern. You
So
answer, then I'll answer it. Okay.
sure, sure. So so when I did my after my MSc, so during MSc I qualified only GATE. So I didn't qualify for the CSIR net. So on the basis of this, I could only apply to IITs. So that's why, and IIT Guwahati. So I come from state Tripura, and IIT Guwahati is near my. IIT Guwahati is basically near my hometown. So I, on the basis of this, applied. Also, IIT Guwahati. The thing is that IIT Guwahati takes a large number of students on the basis of the GATE score. So they give a GATE score preference first. So if you have a GATE, you can if you have a GATE, if you have cleared your GATE, so it is easy. Unlike other places, also I applied to IIT Guwahati because also the PI whom I applied. So I liked his work a lot. So that's why on this, that's why I first joined as a JRF, and then I later converted to PhD after 1 year. because I like the work. So I thought of maybe if I continue with the work, so I might able to answer some of the important questions which I got exposed during my this one GRF.
Okay. So how did I come across this institute? Was different because when I was doing masters in PMB, so there were seniors and there were professors also who were involved in NIPGR itself. Like my professor in PMB was a founding director, like was not founding, but was director in NIPGR. And NIPGR is a plant institute. Its name suggests that National Institute of Plant Genome Research. And I was interested as I was doing masters in plant molecular biology, so I was interested in plant itself. And this is a good institute, at least in northern part of India, and it is just plant-based institute. So my idea was to have a full-fledged institute dedicated to plants, so there will be more like discussion and discourse around my department. Like I'll be exposed to more of science, particularly to plant sciences. And Delhi is close to my home, which is Kanpur, so this was a better choice. And the third point was the funding. Thus, as institute are better funded research lab kind of thing as compared to the university. They have a little less fund and they have a difficulties over like they have to operate different kind of things. So I prefer this institute for these some of the reasons. Okay, all right.
Thank you. So, what is the application and interview process like for getting into a PhD position?
Application. So every institute has their own application process. So and every institute has their own basically eligibility criteria. So some prefer CSI net. So if some prefer you have your own fellowship. So like IITs, if you have, if I am from IIT, so I'll tell about IIT. So IITs, most of the like majority of the IITs prefer if you have your own fellowship, the CSI net, DBT net, ICMR net, whatever it is. But they also have some amount of yeah, fellowship under the gate or the institute MHRD fellowship. But that is very less in other institutes. The only exception is IIT Guwahati. So what happened is that it's because it is northeast. So in order to attract more students, so they have like they take on the basis of gate. So if you have a CSI net, it's fine. But even if you have a gate, so they will readily accept you if you qualify the interview. So that is one. But every institute has its own preferences. Most of the research labs that you CSI research labs or any kind of like the TIFA, they will have their exam and they will also the PIs prefer if you have your own fellowship, that is CSI, DBT or this one. But there is always exceptions. If you have done an MTech, so even if you have done an MTech and if you are applying for IIC or any or IITs, and they will really take you because if you since you did an MTech, so you will have a gate. So that is different. If you are MTech, they'll take you easily through gate score. But if you are an MSc, they will prefer that you qualify CSIR, DBT or ICM and JRF.
So in case of NIPGR, what there was a mandatory thing to have a fellowship for your own. Like I cleared DBT JRF in my masters, so that was the thing I could able to apply for NIPGR. So having a fellowship on your own is a mandatory thing. So so basic idea was the fellowship, and second there was their own entrance kind of thing. So they have their own entrance and interview. That was in 2018. Currently, they are not just doing entrance; they are just hiring on the basis of the DBT fellowship and the interview. So the entrance part is omitted. So that was these were these two steps for my entrance in NIPGR.
Since you guys are constantly talking about fellowships, what are the common fellowships that everyone should know about before getting into a PhD? What are something that can be beneficial for students in terms of money or anything?
Okay, so I think so everybody knows about CSIR, JRF, CSIR, UGC net. So this is the number one fellowship. This is the number one fellowship which everybody applies for and has the largest number of like positions and that. Then comes the UR DVT fellow, DVT JRF. I think so 125 fellowships per year, something like this. Uh, uh, that is DVT and ICMR also same thing 125 something 120 so ICMR these three are the prime fellowship. Other than that you have one entrance examination where you have to that's specifically for bioinformatics people. So that's a specialized entrance and fellowship only if you have MSc or MTech in bioinformatics and you want to apply for it. So that's a very niche fellowship. Other than that, you have GATE, of course, GATE MHRD fellowship. So this is one. This is the I guess fifth one. Okay, and other than that, so I want to talk about there is a specific fellowship. I guess you all have heard about something called as Prime Minister's Research Fellowship. So this is specific to IISc and IITs and NITs and not NITs, ISCs and IITs, ISC and IITs. So this is a specific fellowship. There are two ways to activate it. One, if you are an MTech or a BTech from IIT or NIT, and you join a PhD program in IIT or NIT, sorry, not IIT, NIT and ISC, then you can apply for PMRF fellowship, and this is the one which pays the most basically. Others pay you 35,000 when you join as a fellowship. This pays you 70,000 for the first 2 years, and then it increments to 75,000 for the third year, and fourth and fifth year it pays you 80,000, and it pays you 2 lakh contingency money per year. So this is the highest fellowship, and this one only you can apply when you join IITs or IISc for PhD. There are two ways basically. First, I told when you have to be BTech or MTech, and the other way is that if you are an MSc student and you have joined IIT for PhD, it doesn't have you can join under CSIR any fellowship, or you have joined under GATE fellowship. So what you can do is you can apply through something called as lateral entry. So you have to give a proposal, SOP, and there will be 2 rounds of interview. One at the institute level, where the institute will give you recommendation to the central MHRD and the central level. So once you cleared that, you can again deactivate your old fellowship and activate your Prime Minister Research Fellowship. So so one of the this is a quite a beneficial thing is that if you join IITs and IISc for PhD, you can apply for PMRF, and it pays you the most. But the review is rigorous every year. So that is the only drawback. So basically if they pay you 75,000 and they want result every year. So this is the most funded this. I can tell you this is the one of the best fellowship. Other than that, you have your normal fellowships which pays you 35,000 for JRF. Sorry, 31,000 for JRF and 35,000 for SRFs plus your HRA. So other fellowships. One thing is that MHRD GATE fellowship comes every month, whereas CSIR comes quarterly or once in every 6 months. Same as DBT and this one also. So that is the main so advantage of MHRD fellowship or PMRF fellowship. So they come every month, but for your CSIR and all, you have to wait like quarterly or once in 6 months to get your fellowship.
He has already answered most of the fellowship. I just want to add one more fellowship, which is Inspire Fellowship. This is given to the top 1%, I guess. So I think Rama Bhaiya was Inspire Fellow. He can give you more comment on that. But it is only to your like batch topper or in top 1% kind of those guys. So topper kind of those people get this fellowship. And to add to this PMRF thing, there are also like ISers also. They are also getting PMRO fellowship. Currently, Jawaharlal Nehru University, this JNU, also have fellows who are PMRO fellows. So it's not just limited to IIT and ISC, it also extends to JNU that I know of and ISERS also. That's all.
Sorry, brother, I forgot to mention. Yes, you have JNU, you have BHU, you have University of Hyderabad. I think so. Few 10 institutes are there. But the thing is that like IIT has the highest amount of quota that you have. Na every institute can per year can send 76 candidates for the central committee. Other institutes are little bit less. So that is one thing. Like I have seen that like, in my institute every year there will be 76 people who are 76. So they give 140 recommendation to central committee or something, and out of which somewhere around 40 to 50 people get. But the review is very rigorous for PMRF.
That was extremely informative. Thank you. And one important question is, how did you guys not consider going to other countries while applying for PhD, or how stubborn were you that you should apply in India?
Yeah. Prabhakar, should I go ahead?
Yeah. You go ahead and I'll also link later.
Yes. So when I was doing my JRF, that time, yeah, I had plans of applying abroad and all. I wrote to many this one, so I applied quite a lot. Uh, but I didn't get. So I and but at the end, my professor, like the PI, he asked me, "Did you like the work? Would you want to join?" I told yes, I like the work. So I joined in it, and I had gate, so it was easy to easy to transfer, and that's it. He told that nothing is needed. You have a gate, and you are a GRF, so you can easily upgrade it to any this one. Upgrade it to the PhD. So yeah, that is it. So basically I tried, but then I joined because I like the work.
Okay, so in my case, so there were two parameters. First was that I have to support myself immediately after finishing my master's. So for that, either I have to join PhD or join as a JRF in India for some time so that I could continue doing that continuously supporting my family also, right? And because as he said also that the job applications or PhD application overseas are difficult. You have to have a good CV and you have to have a kind of good research experience and lot of things, and it takes time. And my first parameter was to family and support everything, and second was availability because NIPA was also a good institute. They are publishing good papers, and if I could get a good lab kind of good PI, so why not join just like why stay in India? So this was my parameter to join this institute.
Thank you. This is a question from the audience. How to write a good SOP, and what are the parameters to keep in mind for a good SOP?
Rohan, do you want to answer that?
Sure. So I will. So SOP is first you need to identify your research area now, and then write an SOP. Don't be too first you have to identify your research area, and then you have to read through it. Basically you start with the review and all, and basically review it. Right? Then you pose your research questions and make it such that it should not be too generalized, but or general, but not also very specific. So you have your core questions around that topic or whatever the system you want to study, uh, and try to ask important questions in the SOP. So first will be your general introduction, then your little bit about your field and what ideas or the questions you pose, and how do you think of countering it. So these are, I can tell, these are the 3 points to write a good SOP. Yeah, I can
Hello, am I clear? Okay, so I have written two SOP in my life. I haven't written much, so I can't give you a good idea. But the SOP varies, depends on when you're writing. If you're writing in undergraduate, they don't expect much you to, because you don't have that kind of expertise that you will answer a particular question. So they just want to see that do you have kind of like research and uh, ability. Like when I wrote my SOP for this summer internship kind of thing. So at that time I was in graduation third year. So I've come across a term called telomerase. For example, telomerase. So I was fascinated about it. See, what is telomerase and how does it function? So at that time I've written a brief generalized kind of SOP about telomerase, like a particular topic I got fascinated into, and I did my bit of research, just one two paper or kind of books, and I've written some one two paragraphs, and that was enough for it. But when I applied SOP for PhD, I should have a better SOP in terms of more detailed and more like more fine. For that you have to read multiple papers. For that you have to have at least a basic idea of understanding what they are doing and how do you want to add to that. For example, if I was like in my PhD, I joined a sugar signaling lab. So it was working on sugar signaling and the hormones developed in terms of plant development. So for that I have to add my research experience based on plant, and I'm interested in her work, which was sugar development and everything. So I have to give something to her in a way so that she can understand how it is interesting, as well as it is something way more generalized. You understand? So this was my idea for applying two different SOP in two different time points.
Yeah, hello. Rama can give you a better idea about SOP. He's great in that.
I guess today's focus is more about India and do Indian programs require you to submit SOP? Uh, Actually, that would be appropriate, and if that's the case, what would be ideal?
And not all institutes require SOP. Not yeah. If you are applying for the institute level, you just require a fellowship and sit in the interview. That is there. But if you want to apply to the PIs before going to the interview, then sometimes you can read his work, make a generalized this one, read his work and make an idea about it and talk to him beforehand. So it is better that he will only approach you during the interview and he has before prior knowledge about you. But I don't think so. Indian professors read a lot of mail like this one. Uh, professors and PIs under outside. So you can approach PIs and talk to them before. This will basically create better scope for you when you go for the interview.
Thank you. Regarding PIs, how important is it to research or know about a PI before applying? Because many people just look at institutes and the names and go for it blindly. But how important is PI in one's PhD career?
Okay, I'll answer you that. So PI is the most important thing because he is the one who is going to give you a PhD. He's the one who is going to guide you. So a PIs above all should be good and professional. You should not go to toxic PIs. Research about his work first thing, and then research about his basically professionality. Okay, these two things should be important. Just because lab publishes a lot of good papers, it doesn't mean that he's he is good professionally. I'll tell you that Indian PIs are known for their bad attitudes and toxic culture. So yeah, this one I'll tell. Always talk to the PhDs in the lab before approaching a PI or if you have joined an institute, because they'll tell you whether if a PI is well, what is his approach to research and yeah. So does science just for the sake of science, or is he into science and he's really into science and he he or she is really into science and acts professionally with his or her students. Give positive guide. So some PIs you will see they will never interact with PI. Yeah, your PhD, you do whatever it is. This is one type of PI. One type of PIs are like, oh, why did you do this way? Hey, I told you to do add it. So he'll tell you this and come in the morning. Hey, did you add 1 gram or 2 gram? So these are like over controlling PIs. And some PIs are like, I want result by today, whatever it is. And if you don't, are unable to do it, he will scold you like anything. So you should better avoid those PIs. He should under API should be that okay, he has given you experiment and he has given a timeline. If it doesn't come, if the result doesn't come, you explain it to him. So these are the scientifically that these are the ways, these are the reasons why I didn't get it, and he should understand it. And rather than a PI who like shouts at you, you don't know how to do science. So you should approach those PIs. So I tell the PIs are the most important thing. You not only focus on their scientific background but on their attitude basically.
I would like to say the same thing, that PI are the powerful thing, but PI are people. So they are the people who have power to control your future, right? So they can act in a way that you might not like it, and sometimes it is toxic to the people. And there are multiple cases, as you might have heard, like people are doing kind of leaving the PhD and everything. So there are cases, but at the same time, PIs are people also. So you have to find the balance between the research output as well as the PI. Like sometimes you have seen some labs which are not doing good, but the PIs is very approachable. So in that case, you have to find a lab which is doing decent work also, but PI is also not bad in the sense he or she should not be toxic about your culture. He should not be like into your micromanagement kind of thing. He should be professional, or he or she should be professional and have a balance with it. So yeah, PIs are important. For that, I would suggest you find a senior, discuss from them, from the institute. You'll get a better idea for your PI before applying it. That's all.
I
Thank
also want to add one thing, if I may.
yeah, sure.
Hello. Yes, always I will tell this is like a suggestion. Okay, always choose PIs which has like a maximum of eight students under him, not more than that. Okay, not more than that. This is like a if a PI has like in his lab 15, 16, nope, he will not have time for you. I'll tell you. So you always try to choose a small lab and is dedicated towards the science, and a PI should be professional and have a scientific attitude. So that should be important. Uh, so yeah.
Thank you. To the audience again, if you want to ask a question to the panelists, you can raise your hands and we'll invite you on stage. So, what are the working conditions like in an Indian PhD or a research lab? Do you have time for personal life, or is it 24 into 7 work, work, work? And
Okay, this is the question. Hello.
yeah, what is the work culture like? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So in India, it's not 9 to 5. I will tell you that. It's never 9 to 5 until unless you do some like highly computational stuff. So then you control your work through your computer, so you don't have to run to the lab. But if you're joining a wet lab, it's never 9 to 5 like abroad. This one I'll tell you. It can take sometimes 24 hours also, depending upon your this one. But you have to find your work balance according to it. So that has to be how you prepare the experiment, and also it depends upon how rigorous your PI also. But you will get this one. You will be able to make have a work life balance, but it will be Indian PhD, depending upon your work, it might or might not be stressful. So it's like it all depends upon your work or the topic that you do. Yeah.
So yeah, time conditions are very subjective thing. I would say like there are some labs in NIPGR who follows this five to nine kind of like sorry 9 to 5 kind of thing. But that's not true, totally true. It depends on your work also, and it depends on PI also. Like when I was joined my institute, this institute, so I had this condition like I'm not a very good morning person, so I had difficulties getting up at join a 8 o'clock classes. So I had discussed with her that I might not be able to join at 8 or 9 a.m. But I'll come around 10 and I'll leave around 7, sometimes 8. And it depends. Sometimes I have to stay till 12 o'clock. So it depends on my work and it depends on my mood also. Like sometimes I do leave at 5 o'clock. So yeah, it is not 9 to 5, but it is more or less. It's okay. It's not very harmful. But it also depends on your guide and your work as well. Like in circadian lab, I could suggest that there are people who are working in circadian lab depends 24/7 because they have a cycle to maintain and everything. So yeah, there are labs which are working on 24/7, and there are some labs who works on 9 to 5 also, and they are okay with it. They are kind of rigid and okay with it. They are functioning. So yeah, it is subject to that. That's all.
Thank you. And how far is the myth Indian institutes are not well equipped to research true? How much is it true?
Yeah, Indian institutes, if you go for the top institutes, so all like this one, National, sorry, NCL or ISC. Yeah, most if you talk about machines and all, they are sometimes that may be broken, so you have to but yeah, a good lab will find to good lab pursuing like a novel topic will always find simpler ways to answer a problem. But Indian institutes are now quite capable. Sometimes they may be lagging because of the resources in which are like researchers resources of fund, but they are quite good enough to compete with any lab outside. If you, yeah, I will tell this one only, but you can try. They are, it depends upon how what are the availability of the equipments and all, and this one reagents and all. Sometimes even in my lab, I if I order primers, I get after 15 days. So you see, and if I guess Rama will tell you, Rama, within how many days do you get your primers?
We get in 2 days.
Yeah. So this limitation is there. In India, if you do minimum, it will be 10 to 15 days to get a primer. If you order a reagent, it might take 1 month. So you have to quite plan ahead and see. So that is it. But Indian institutes are quite capable of doing good research, and they. But the funding is low. Unlike foreign institutes, the funding is low, and people have to come up with innovative ideas to answer questions, answer your scientific questions within that funding with simpler methods. Okay, so yeah, they are quite capable, but it's also subjective.
Okay, so yeah, matlab, there are. I would like to say the same thing because I say it every time that science is luxury. Doing science is luxury. At least in India, there are multiple labs who are getting good funding, and there are a lot of labs who are not getting good funding. I could count it on my hand. Like there are multiple labs in JNU itself. It's a which is a premier university, and they are working on 50K to 1 lakh funding per year, which is very difficult to run a lab given those funding conditions. So there are funding issue in lab, but some currently in NIPGR or in ISC or in some IITs, also they are getting good fundings for research projects. And the idea of multiple parameters just to that, not just funding. So second parameter, I would also say the approach. Like there are multiple labs in NIPGI also who are doing not so good work, and there are some lab in NIPGI itself they are doing good work. So it depends on the approach of PI and the student within it. Like how do you want to answer that question? How do you want to like raise a question? So the approach is subjective and it is It is getting better. It is getting better currently, but it will take time to head on compete with lab in Germany or in Europe, I would say. Yeah, it will take time, but yeah, the science is not that good as compared to the European countries, but it is increasing. It is getting better.
Now that we spoke about limitations, what are the actual advantages of applying to a research institute in India?
Okay. So yeah, that is quite like one thing is that if you apply to research lab in India, you can build your Indian contacts, you Indian contacts and all. So and your PI will be able to support if you do postdoc outside and come back. So he might help you sometimes. These all are there. Also, you better know how the system works, Indian system works. So this will give you some advantage if you are applying for this one. But I guess only the disadvantage is like Indian PhDs take a lot of time. 4 5 years is the minimum. In some labs it takes more than 5 years also. So yeah, that is a thing. That is a thing is there. Other than that, uh, yes. So everything has its own, and if you apply outside, that will you will get you will get more resources and all, and you will be able to finish your PhD earlier. India, it will take little bit time, but you build up your like national contacts and all. Plus, sometimes the PI might have able to help also when you come after postdoc. So that is their one thing.
Okay, so in my case, my first advantage is family and friends because I live in India and have a family and everything, and I like enjoy doing science in India. I'm okay with it. And the best part is I can go to my home, my village for my Holi and Diwali and all those festivals. I could be available with them all the time. That's one major advantage. And second thing is food. I'm very foodie kind of person, so I prefer Indian food. And Rama would say, I think he would agree with me that the food in Germany, or he has to arrange for it and everything. I can totally arrange. He could get samosa in Germany also, but it is kind of difficult as compared to the samosa or any kind of food you eat in India. And third point I would say is research and collaboration. Like in India, if you're getting good paper and you have a people around you who can support you, like your PI and your friends, it's okay to have a good PhD from India itself. So I think like these are the things I could count right now to have like as a advantages for doing PhD in India.
Thank you. This is a question from audience. What steps should be taken to learn skills in undergraduation, as many people suggest to focus on the theory part in the early stages of studies? Should we work for our PhD and area of interest from the graduation level itself?
Graduation. So in order to develop an active this one, if you are applying for India, I'll tell you probe about your this one research interest. Little bit. Whether you want to do or see. First question is that would you want to do a PhD on like do you want to take up research as a career option or not? So that should be your first question. So whether you can basically endure the this one whole like PhD work, PhD tenure, work schedule and all. So this should be your first question. If you are up for it, and then you then you should little bit probe your research. It doesn't have to be from your graduation level, but you can probe it slowly. Masters, I think so. If you are applying for India, you need to clear your fellowship. You need to secure your fellowship. That should be your first priority. After you secure a fellowship, then you can think about your research questions. You can come up with research questions. But first is like you try to check whether you want to do a PhD or not. Can you take the hardship of doing a PhD, or do you have like the basically hunger for going into scientific research, and then should be for India. I'll tell clear your fellowship, and then you can go ahead with taking up basically building up a roadmap and come up with a research problem that you want to answer. Yeah.
I would like to say that if you are in graduation, I think you should focus more on theory part, because theory part is not just important. It will make the foundation very strong. If you're not very comfortable with the theory part, I would suggest you can try exploring multiple things. Like you can try doing seminars related to research team, or doing poster sessions, or quizzes that goes on around the graduation time. So that will give you kind of exposure. Or you can try internships also, like the NGSF internship. You can apply for it and have an idea of how does lab function. That will give you a brief idea of how does PhD or in general lab functions. But currently, I would suggest you should focus more on your studies, because that will also affect your CV. If you don't have good grades or courses, it will affect your CV, and that will result getting a rejection from a institute you want to apply. So I would suggest focus more on your courses, and you can explore around it. Because at the age of graduation, you do not really know that you want to do it or not. You have to explore so that you can consider. That's all.
Question from the audience. Sarita has UGC NET JRF from Environmental Science. Can she apply for Bioinformatics lab?
I guess UGC environmental depends upon the institute. I guess no, some institute might not. If you have a UG, this even I am confused. But UGC environment, I think so. You can only in labs which work on environmental science and all, environmental science, and if that lab which you're working is bioinformatically oriented, so I guess you can work on bioinformatics. But this is even I am confused whether UGC net environmental science can you apply for other or not. But you can surely apply for projects which has lot of which has environmental departments. In IIT, if you have UGC net and yes, IITs you can apply. So in many IITs you have a department of energy, rural technology, okay, center for department of nanotechnology. So all this or civil engineering. So all this has some kind of links to environment. So you can apply there.
Yeah, I think I would agree to Rohan that yeah, we can apply to different stream as well. Like you don't have to be particularly focused about bioinformatics. Like there are multiple labs, environmental sciences and in molecular biology labs are doing in bioinformatics. So if you have a degree in environmental sciences and you want to pursue that you can do in environmental sciences on bioinformatics. Like there are multiple labs in NCBS that I remember. They are doing environmental science as well as the bioinformatics. So yeah, you can contact them, and definitely I think you can apply for them.
Okay, thank you. So, what was your research experience like in masters, and how helpful were they in PhD? And did you have to take any extra internships to equip yourself? Any for necessary experience, etc.
So yeah, in my master's lab, so I worked as I have said earlier. I worked on bioprocess engineering, which involves reactor technology and reactor technology and all. So which is completely different from what I'm presently working on. But one important thing was that in my master's lab, my lab was more involved in making recombinant proteins. So upscale of recombinant, which involves cloning, protein purification, and all some basic idea of uh, some basic idea of molecular biology you will get, and you'll get hands-on training on working in lab. So yes, my master's lab quite helped me to adapt to the new lab in my PhD, and it helped me. Yeah, it helped me. So this is the only answer. So you, yeah, it helped me a lot. So that I can say.
So in my master's, there's an option of doing dissertation or like in PMB, it was mandatory to have a dissertation, which implies that you have to work in a lab of to have an idea of what PhD looks like and how they do. And I have to present my work, I have to do the experiment, and that was my dissertation. And sometimes it is not very option in multiple university because it takes funding. So fortunately, we had fundings in PMB, so we were able to get it. But sometimes you don't. So there's an option of doing research work, which is to literature work, which is to go through literature and kind of write a project about it, like a review paper kind of it. So it also helps. You don't have to be like researchly oriented or that kind of thing. That you can do in PhD also. There are multiple people in my lab who have done the review paper, but they are doing good in my lab. They are doing the research work. So it's not mandatory, but if you have the idea or like if you can afford it in your institute or somewhere around informal internship, you should go for it. But if you don't have, that's okay. That's okay with you. You can still go and proceed with the PhD.
Thank you. For multidisciplinary subjects, that is like for bioinformatics, how do you suggest we equip ourselves during UG or masters? Like, if we have a degree related only to biology, how can we go about gaining experience in programming skills?
Okay, so bioinformatics. So you will be taught in your new lab. Don't worry, you will be taught in your new lab. All because every lab has their own set of protocols to follow in their work. So you will be taught all the basics when you enter one lab. But sometimes if you are just for the bioinformatics, you should know a little bit about the coding aspect and all. Should have a little bit idea about the coding, but other than that, because the PI might ask, do you know this or not? Do you know this particular program, for example, and all? Do you know how to use this thing? You can tell that I know, and he might ask in the interview few questions regarding, okay, how will you solve this problem? I have this problem. What do you answer? So, so sometimes if you have a basic knowledge about the like a little bit about idea about the coding, then it might help. But once you but the usually the lab will teach you. So the lab will, even a novice can join a novice can go up, join a bioinformatics lab and become a good bioinformatician. So yeah, in lab there are people who will teach you, so don't worry. Even anybody who doesn't know a single bit of coding can become a bioinformatician.
Oh, yeah, you're correct that if you are interested in biometician, there are people in lab who would, like seniors in lab, who would help you. But if you are interested, I would suggest you reading some papers for it, like to explore more of your interest. And if you are like want to try or gain expertise, you can try learning languages like R or Python or just basics of those. That you can do with YouTube, normal YouTube search or normal like courses. There are multiple courses of there. We can give you basics of programming. That will help you in that will accelerate your learning experience in PhD. And as Rohan said, that yeah, there are seniors in lab who will teach you all those things, so you don't have to worry about it currently. But yeah, if you want to proceed for it, you can still do it.
Okay. So, what are the job opportunities after a PhD? Can you work in the industry or you should stay only in the academia?
So yeah, it depends upon you, but I'll tell you that approaching industry is always better. This one it gives you better rewards, sometimes better this one. But in like uh, like uh, but more like interest. Do you want to be in the research to this one? But life of a PI is hard. If you stay in the academic, you have to do a postdoc, and you have to do a postdoc, and like then you have to search for positions. If you want to open a good lab, then you have to write projects, get grants, get students, think about their research work. So this is one thing is there. Research, and you have to also see that that work goes. So becoming a PI is also a tough job, but industry gives a lot of good yeah, yeah, industry is also a very good approach to approach. So I'll tell you that you first, if you are not into too much like this one, then you should approach industry. Industry also has a lot of like he can give you challenging problems to work on, and you can work. Sometimes it becomes monotonous, but you always get challenges in the industry. So and yeah, that is it.
My answer would be that it depends on your choice. First of all, it depends upon your surroundings. Like if you have no flexibility and you want, like if you have no flexibility and you want a secure job, industry is good. Go for it. Like industry is very good, and there are multiple job is like in parallel with industry also. Like there's a recent job of science communication. If you are into science and like science, but you don't want to pursue academia or industry, you can write about science. There are multiple portals or like news groups. You can there you can write about science. There are science articles about like generalized work. And if you are into science and arts, you can go for illustrators. Like there are multiple this like what is it? Research papers like the nature and everything. They are hiring the illustrator for their job. They will pay you to draw a diagram or whatever for their paper and everything. So that's one job. And academia is always there for you. Academia is always there for you, and industry is also good if you're into bioinformatics, or for that matter if you're into uh, good molecular biology. You can always join agriculture industry or in like normal industry which are involved in bioinformation, etc. So yeah, that's my answer.
Thank you. Our audience has a question. Mahayok,
Hello, my name is Mamata. I have a question. I have completed my MSc in biotech in 2007. Is there a different procedure for us to apply for PhD?
Did it in 2007. So
Yes.
your MSc in biotech.
Yes.
I think so. So yes. So this even I don't have any idea if you can apply, but you can apply for PhD. Yeah, you can surely apply for PhD. Whether it should be like self-sponsored or sponsored depends upon the institute. But you can of course apply. Anybody can apply for PhD at any time. It is the fellowship that which has the limit. Some fellowship has till I guess 35 years. I guess CSIR is 35 years. I guess something. But yeah, it depends upon the fellowship. You can sponsor yourself, or if you have a fellowship, then you have to find a fellowship which can sponsor who have completed their like masters quite a long ago. But you can always do PhD. Nobody can stop you from doing PhD. So this is there. Uh, I guess outside in India, the fellowship is the main this one constraint. But outside India, I guess anybody can apply for PhD at anytime, and anybody can secure any fellowship at any time. I don't think so. There's age constraints for that. Rama can tell you better about that.
Thank you, sir.
I don't really know about. I have not seen people start a PhD later in the life here, even after 30.
No, I haven't
I
seen
have
also, but
I
I've
guess, oh
go on,
sorry
go on,
sorry sorry sorry.
go on, go on, go on.
Yeah, I have few people that I know in IIT who are doing PhD in their 40s. but they are sponsored by their what you call that companies not companies, by their basically the employer. So you have oil, this one, what you call that, you Bharat Heavy Electronics, they sponsor. Then you have your BRC, they sponsor. So they sponsor, or yeah, you have people from Indian Navy and Indian Army who are doing their PhD. So yeah, you have people, but they are all sponsored. I don't know whether, but you can of course apply to the this one, but somebody has to sponsor the money. If you can sponsor yourself, that is okay, but somebody should sponsor. Like, you should have your fellowship. Fellowship has a cutoff, I think. So for women, there is specific category for, yeah, for women there is some schemes are there where you can start your PhD late and they are able to fund you through special women grants. So this I know. Yeah, you are there. You can start. So you can. There's like women scientists. Women scientist fellowship, something is there. So you can even start after like 35. They are able to fund you, but they are very specific, I think so. But apart from that, the constant is a fellowship, not the research institute. So yeah.
I hope Rohan answered your query. I think.
Yes, I got an idea, sir.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you. Any other people having any more questions? You can raise your hands now.
And if you have any inhibition of answering question, raising question, it's okay. You can reach out to us on different platforms. So it's okay.
Okay, then. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for the questions, the audience. Thank you for being patient and answering the questions. And thank you everyone. We'll see you soon again in another session. Thank you.
Thank you, Shraddha. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. So all the best for your research career. Bye.